J. Edgar Hoover said that the biggest threat to American security is Negro progress. Black people getting together. We have to stop any Messiah. That's why that movie was called The Messiah. We have to stop any Messiah from leading anybody. That's why they took down leaders all the time. We can't get black people to come together. Every foreigner has something to say badly about African Americans. Even Africans sometimes have to say about African Americans, but then everybody comes to America trying to be African American. Why aren't black people getting a bill signed? What about the anti-black bill that should have been signed 200 years ago? Africa, do you know in Africa you can't even travel to another neighboring country without a passport?
Peace. This is K Messiah. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're building this platform, and besides, it's free. Today, we're bringing you Godfrey 2.0. He went on the Willie D platform, dropping jewels. Let's go ahead and listen.
Or your family.
Yeah.
It's the horses.
And the horses and the accent. And even
the guards.
Even the actors.
Yeah.
Look at all the actors now that are taking over a lot of the American jobs. They're all taking over the American job. I thought Idris Elba was from Baltimore. After watching The Wire, I said, who's that dude from Baltimore? Then I watched him on the BBC. This month, like, well, I did The Wire. What do you mean, the fuck? I said, I thought he was from America. No. Kahlua, who played Fred Hampton, he's a British African guy. You got the girl
now,
from...
I'm going to tell you, that offended shit out of me, bro.
Which one? Oh, when he
played Fred Hampton.
From Chicago. All these great black actors.
Right here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Who know the struggle, who actually can identify directly with what Fred Hampton went through.
That was a little weird.
Man, go get his son. If at the very least, go get his son, because his son is a spitting image of him.
Yeah,
and
have him do it.
Super intelligent. Yeah. I'm talking about super intelligent. He would have killed it.
I don't know how
that really offended me.
Yeah, and it's like, what? And listen, not downing him, Daniel Kaluuya, as an African, a Nigerian American. I love him. He's a great actor. But there's certain things that, why can't we just do that? Like, what's her name? Erivo. That Cynthia Erivo, who's playing Wicked, the witch in Erivo, she said some really disparaging shit about African Americans. And then she ends up playing...
Is she British?
She's British Nigerian.
Okay.
If I'm right, I better be right, because I want to make sure if I'm not, you guys can go in the comments and go, he don't even got it right. That mother don't say nothing right. She said some disparaging, which is funny how almost every foreigner has something to say badly about African Americans. Even Africans sometimes have some shit to say about African Americans, but then everybody comes to America trying to be African American.
And benefit off of our struggle and the work that we put in.
Yeah, and what's real is she ended up playing Harriet Tubman. I go, wait a minute, you just talked about and shit on African Americans, and you're going to talk about the woman that did so much for African American freedom? You get to play her? You're playing Harriet Tubman?
And that's why it's important that we protect art. Whenever we have great filmmakers from the community, from the grassroots, from the soil, we have to make sure we protect them, we support them, because, because of free market, somebody's always going to be able to put out a story and be able to hire who they want to be the lead actor. But definitely don't go and watch it. Make sure that the culture knows that they're on the do not watch list. And when they have their first week release, it doesn't do any numbers, except the people who really are not in tune with the culture, they can go and support. But also on the flip side, we have to put out our own stories honoring our heroes, the heroes in our culture, because nobody else is going to do it like it's supposed to be done. Let's get to it.
Yeah, it's part of the American thing to hate black people, because let me tell you, I got proof. My Vietnamese friends, I say, why you keep calling us Midang? And my friend Duck, it's Duck, it's not Duck, it's Duck, we used to call him Duck. He says, they tell us, the government tell us to be careful of black people. They tell us that. The white people, they tell us, be careful of black people. And I ended up being their friends. My father and my parents buying them clothing, and you got black people giving you clothing and black people hanging out with you and teaching you football and all this other shit. And they told you to stay away from black people. You know what I'm saying? They taught them that. And Richard Pryor has a good joke. Rich Pryor had a good one in the 70s where he goes, he's like, yeah, he said, them Vietnamese coming to town in America, right? He said, the government says, hey, if you call them, you're an American, some shit. You ever hear him see it say it?
No, I didn't hear
Yeah, Richard says it perfect. He said, man, them mothers racist and mother. He's like, because the white folks tell them, if you say and you're American. Yeah, even Richard Pryor talked about that. And it's sort of like, it's a patriotic thing to hate black people. That's like a normal thing. It's if they gave you a pamphlet, they'll say, oh yeah, and hate next. Because every other race, and this is not me downing every race, of course, there's good people in every race. I want to always state that. This is not to appease anybody. It's just facts.
But shoe fit wear, goddammit. Shoe fit wear.
Yeah,
whoever the shoe fit. If you in whatever particular group
it's
that
like
you in,
got. And
if he talking about you, a hit dog gonna holler.
No doubt. And it's always like every other race is calling you in their language, whether it's their language, they always say something despising. Mexicans will call you mayate. Okay, mayate. They go, really, Mexicans? We got your back like a motherfucker. There are black Mexicans, too. You got black Mexicans in Oaxaca, Mexico. You got a lot of African roots. A lot of Mexicans helped slaves back in the day. They did. They took them into their houses. There's all that history of blacks and Mexicans like this. That's why when you see this disparity of blacks and Mexicans fighting, it makes no sense. I believe it's America. America constructed us to stay away from each other. That's why they say, don't read no history. Keep all out.
Well, they did the same thing with keeping the blacks in America away from the blacks in Africa. You know, all of it was a part of the social construct. And they're continuing to do it.
The reason why... Remember we had that the Asian hate bill? Remember how fast that shit got signed? Why did it get signed so fast? This is what I believe. Because China, which is a superpower, was like, you might want to get your shit together because America can't afford to put the Asians in America. Chinese are connected to their people. The Chinese are connected to Asia. So they're like, oh, you want to play games with us? You better get that shit, get that bill signed. Why aren't black people getting a bill signed? What about the anti-black bill that should have been signed 200 years ago? It's not signed. You know why? Because I believe this. We're not connected to Africa. They purposely, the one thing that, okay, J. Edgar Hoover said this, who's part black too, by the way. They're finding out he's part black. J. Edgar Hoover said that the biggest threat to American security is Negro progress. Black people getting together, we have to stop any Messiah. That's why that movie was called The Messiah. We have to stop any Messiah from leading anybody. That's why they took down leaders all the time. We can't get black people to come together. Africa, do you know in Africa, you can't even travel to another neighboring country without a passport? You can't. In Europe, you can go anywhere you want to. And Europeans get to travel all around Africa without passports. But Africans, South African can't go to an East African country, can't go to a neighboring country. If I'm in...
So let's break it down. What Godfrey is saying is because the Asian Americans had a strong home front, the pressure that the government got from China and different Asian countries to make sure that their citizens in America was protected, that's what encouraged and that's what motivated the Asian crime bill. Because the backlash that the United States government would have gotten dealing in their dealings and relationships with Asian countries abroad. Now, that makes sense because when you look at Black Americans and you look at the relationship between the leaders in the continent of Africa and all over the world, if there was a stronger push for solidarity amongst the African leaders and the struggles and the issues that go on with Black Americans, you know, that would enforce more power. It would bring about more positive results. But because the African leaders don't necessarily stand in solidarity with the Black American struggles, whether it's the Black American quest for reparations, whether it's the Black American struggle for an anti-Black crime bill or a crime bill to protect Black people, you know, a Black crime bill that protects Black people from racism and injustices. Why hasn't there been a crime bill for Black people and we've been enduring 400 years of racism and injustices, but there's no anti-black crime bill, but there's an anti-Asian crime bill that came about right after COVID hit, and they said that Asians were being attacked because of extremists who were saying that they brought COVID to America. So let's just talk about it. What is your opinion on it? This is King Messiah. The video credit, this is Willie D and Godfrey video credit. And I appreciate y'all support. We're gonna continue dropping this hot content. Hey, we got a lot of work to do, but we're not talking about it. We're doing it. And you guys have been doing your part by subscribing. We gained 1,000 subscribers over the last 30 days. Much respect. We're gonna affect social change through social media, and I'm gonna lead by example. Hey, peace.